So Maggie is safe, but for how long? Hey everyone, the B team here of Joshua and Jim. In for Eric and Terry this week, we're talking about the 5th episode of Walking Dead Go-Getters, the 7 seasons, 5th episode. Full spoilers ahead, so you've been warned. Let's dive right into it. So, Maggie, they've essentially faked her death over in Alexandria so that Negan thinks that there's a grave there, so she didn't make it out. Negan wants Maggie to be one of his brides now that Glenn is R.I.P., but she's being hidden at the Hilltop. Joshua, how long do we think Maggie is actually safe for? Because it's not like some of the folks at the Hilltop are all that kind to see.
Yeah, they're taking no measures to actually hide her. Everyone knows she's there, and if they didn't, they certainly do after that stunt with the tractor.
Right, exactly.
Monster truck.
She's not exactly subtle in her time there at the Hilltop.
I think this is an interesting twist. I like it because we know eventually Negan is going to find out, and he isn't like being betrayed and people hiding things from him. So that's going to be it's going to be a bad episode whenever that comes around.
Right. Well, right now let's dive into the Hilltop. Gregory, essentially the leader of the Hilltop, is not a fan of either Maggie or Sasha still being there. There were some repetitive scenes, frankly. I felt like the same information being done twice of like, well, she's pregnant, we're here, we're gonna stay, no, you have to go. It was the same scene done twice.
It was pretty repetitive. And we already know that guy is like, Gregory is like a skis ball and a jerk. Yeah. And he almost sold them out, but he paid the price because he lost all of his liquor.
Well, Jesus did kind of pull a slight fast one on him, even though he said, he put them in the closet. I think Jesus probably did know which closet he meant, and instead he psyched them out. So Gregory clearly is willing to sell out Sasha and Maggie at this point, and Jesus, he's not exactly. I don't know. He's unwilling to sort of step into a leadership role. He's been, Gregory twice said to him, "Oh, so you want to be in charge?" And he's kind of like, "Oh, well, not really,
I think that's fine. I don't think everyone needs to want to be the leader. Then Rick will eventually have to kill them.
But Maggie and Sasha, how long do you think they're actually going to stay at the Hilltop now? They're making it sound like, oh, she's going to stay there through the duration of her pregnancy, but I really just think they're there for, another week, basically.
Before they're kicked out.
Yeah.
I think they used this episode to make the case that they've kind of like earned their keep and they're gonna stay there for at least for a while. I think they're gonna be our viewpoint to what's going on that side of the world.
But also Maggie too, the whole sort of the memento mori, if you will, of Glenn's watch and finally letting it go, giving it to Enid. She seems like she is trying to. She's trying to focus really more on what she needs to do, which is 1, survive this pregnancy, and 2, get at Negan. Now, speaking of getting at Negan, the episode does end with both Jesus, who is off to find out where Negan is, a mission from Sasha, and then Carl being hidden away in the back of that truck, wasting perfectly good booze, by the way, Jesus. Come on.
That's the real tragedy.
I know, that's the thing that I was watching that, I'm like, oh, come on.
You're like, you see Maggie mourning her freshly dead husband, and you're like, but the pouring of good booze.
I'm just saying, you got to have your priorities in the post-apocalypse. So, do we think that Carl and Jesus are actually, how far will they get to the governor? And I feel like one of them is the governor,
the old
Negan. Negan, damn it. Do we think either of them are doomed? I mean, let's face it, we saw that Carl can't shoot for anything. His aim is terrible. He did go out driving with his one good eye, and you did well enough to run over a few walkers. This week was chock full of smushing walkers with wheels.
That car, Carl completely destroyed that car to kill one walker.
Yeah, probably not the smartest thing.
Yeah.
But do we think that one of them is doomed?
Well, I think they're both going to make it out alive, but not unscathed. I've read the comic book. I don't want to give any comic book spoilers. I have a feeling of where it's kind of going, but I just know it's about to be really, really uncomfortable for not just those two characters, but their families and other supporting characters.
Yeah, it does seem like that. I feel like the Hilltop's days are kind of numbered at this point between the set piece, the major action set piece, where we did see Maggie keeping that incredibly low profile of going full monster truck. Also, we find out that she basically did that to an ex-boyfriend. So, hey, you got some anger issues. You got to work on that. But I have to say, overall, I did feel like the episode, between the repetitive scenes, it did feel like another one of those mid-season wheel-spinning episodes where there was kind of, we didn't really get Negan this episode. We had a little bit of Rick, but I just felt like it didn't quite move the needle, this season. I feel like you could have taken the Maggie stuff and the Jesus and Carl stuff at the end and sort of put in a better story in the middle of all that. What do you think?
I don't know. It's kind of hard to try and if we rearrange it this, and this. I personally am a little bored with the episodes that don't have Negan in it, just because he's like the reason I'm kind of more into this season than I was the last couple seasons.
Which is contradictory to what Eric and Terry kind of feel like it's same old with this guy. I feel like at this point with Negan, we have to see some other shades to this character to make him more interesting. I know I misspoke earlier and said governor, but at least with the governor, he did have a bit more dimension to him, and I feel like as scary as Negan is and as sort of as captivating as he can be, it's becoming a bit one note, and I do feel like they need to give us a little bit something more about him at some point here.
Yeah, I feel like this is the season of sort of really heightened characters, because we obviously have everything going on at the kingdom.
Yeah.
With Ezekiel.
Everyone's sort of taking another identity.
Yeah, and then Negan is obviously this almost like larger than life, really weird, twisted.
Yeah. Kind of like a Tarantino character.
Yeah, he's kind of like the Joker of the Walking Dead universe.
Yeah, interesting. All right, well, we basically feel like Maggie might be safe for now, but I do wonder how long her days are numbered on this show, if they are. And also Carl and Jesus. I could see the governor doing something to Jesus. Just when you got a name like that and you're going up against a guy named Negan. Did I say governor again? I did, didn't I?
Did you? Gosh,
I don't
Jim.
know. Negan. Damn it. Let us know what you think. How long is Maggie safe for? Is the Hilltop safe? What about Carl and Jesus? Are they getting themselves into more trouble than maybe they're ready to confront right now?
Probably.
And would you actually waste that much booze? I hope not. Let us know in the comments. Until next time, for all things Walking Dead, keep it here on IGN.